Hello crafters and stampers. My name is Sharon Lake and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. And today I would like to show you how I made this particular Christmas card. I am using the limited edition snowflake sets that are available only this month, in the month of November. They became available on November 1st and they will be available through November 30th. And let's just take a look at what those sets look like. So we have the Snow is Glistening set and the Happiness Surround set. As you can see, this one's a little bit more all year round. This one is very wintry, but they do come with a set of dies, which I've purchased. I'm sorry I did take them out of their container because I tend to store them right inside my cases with a little magnetic sheet. It has this beautiful detailed snowflake die that's very large, and I'm trying to remember exactly how many dies there are. I have some already out here on my work table because we are going to be using some of those dies today, but that would include this little snow flurry die, and I believe I have out 4 more snowflake dies. So they're this is a wonderful, wonderful set right here. I am like so excited to be using this set. I've seen so many ideas of what to do with snowflakes and how to design cards on the internet, YouTube, and Pinterest, that having this set is just incredible. But you can see we have, these are 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, because those are 2 separate dies. As you can see me move that around in here. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 dies in all. That is an incredible set. So please check that out. That is a set that you are going to want to acquire. I guarantee you. It is just absolutely gorgeous. You can see the sentiments that are on here. Merry Christmas to you and peace on earth to all the world. Each snowflake is beautiful, sparkling, and special just like you. Sending a blizzard of wishes for a wonderful season. There's a For You stamp on there. There's a few of these falling snow stamps here that are just gorgeous. And a little background snowflake thing here that could be stamped over and over. And then the wreath, the leaf dies. You can see the leaf out here going out. It could go inside of this stamp. There's just no end to what you could do with this stamp set. Congratulations, sending positive thoughts. Hello, friend. Here's to new beginnings. Surround yourself with happiness. I mean, just an absolutely gorgeous set. These are 2 separate stamp sets that you can purchase. The snowflake and all the dies do coordinate with both sets. So, and it is also a separate purchase. But just what an incredible offer that is. So today, these are the dies that we're going to be using. 2 of these are alike. And then we have, you know, another one here that's just a little bit larger and one that's a totally different design. And like I said, we're going to be using this Snow Flurry die as well. So today we're going to be using some shimmer glimmer paper, I think is what it's called. I'll verify that and put it on the screen for you. And again, this is the project that we're going to be doing today. Let me just see if I can pull that in a little bit so that you can see that a little closer up. There we are. Beautiful little card. So I did use the Sending a Blizzard of Wishes for a Wonderful Season, that stamp here on the front. I used the one on the inside. Each snowflake is beautiful, sparkling, and special just like you. And then just tied in these little snowflakes here on the inside. So I am just going to step up this card a little bit for us today, and I'm going to use something else that's wonderful in the holiday catalog. You can get these card sets, and this is the silver foil edge cards and envelopes. There are 20 that come in a package, but you get this card base with this wonderful foil edging on it and the matching envelopes that you can see with the foil on the envelopes. One thing I like about purchasing cards is when you get the ones with that beautiful foil lining or whatever, and it just looks so rich and beautiful. And so when I saw this in the catalog with the foil edge, I was so excited because here I can send out very rich, beautiful, gorgeous cards with my own handmade touch. So we're just going to be making a card front to put on this particular card base today, just like our sample here. And let me just scroll back out here so that we can see our whole work surface. There we go. So we're just going to get started making this particular design. So the first thing that we're going to do is use our Embossing Buddy and just clear off our card front here. And I did cut this piece to be 4 inches by 5 1/4 so that it would lay nicely and show that nice foiled edge on our card base. So I'm going to hit that, and then I'm going to get out some Versamark ink, and we're going to use several of those little snowflake stamps, and we are going to make a beautiful little background on our paper. So I just remove my sentiment there, and I'm going to start with my largest snowflake, and I'm just going to stamp that a few times across the card. And it is okay to go off the edge of your paper a little bit, just so it looks like it's a nice pattern paper that came that way. Nothing says you have to do that, but it is okay to do that. I'm just going to do that right here in this corner. And a little bit right there. Okay, now I am going to move down to my next largest stamp. I'm going to throw a few of those in there. And the thing is, we're trying to make this look as random as possible. I sometimes have a problem with that, trying to get things to look random. It just seems like they came out way too planned. But I'm giving it my best shot here. And because we're adding a few things to the card, the color and whatnot, I don't think it'll be too noticeable if we get it off a little bit. Alright, and then there is a very tiny little snowflake, if I can just see where I set it here. There we are. So I put this on my smallest block, and I'm just going to put that tiny little snowflake down and try and fill in some of the empty spots here. And if you find this is a little bit hard to see, it is okay to hit it with your embossing powder and then come back and stamp and fill in some of those spots that you can still see look a little bit empty. Okay. Still see just a couple more spots here. I find sometimes when you're doing your cards that there's not quite enough stamping going on, and since we are Stampin' Up! And are trying to showcase our stamps, I just really enjoyed this card because it had quite a bit of stamping to it. So, I do love stamping. Now, no, just see where I buried my clear embossing powder. We are. I knocked my container upside down and buried my little spoon even. So if you've been watching my other videos, you notice that I keep my embossing powder in a small container here. So just going to sprinkle this clear embossing powder. And the reason we're using clear is the paper is already nice and white underneath. So we don't really need to use white, although you can use white if you like to. The object here is just to create a resist when we start brushing some ink onto this card front. Okay. That looks good. All right. Just going to close my embossing powder back up there. Move that to the side. And warm up my embossing tool. Just going to let that warm for a second before I put it on my card. I had the most horrid experience earlier when I was making my example card here. I was talking to my husband, not paying attention to what I was doing, and I completely scorched a card. So you do really want to focus on what you're doing while you're embossing and heating up your card here. I'm just going to quiet this down so that it won't be too obnoxious on the video. Okay, so now you can see on our card we have this beautiful embossing, and you know that could be a beautiful card just the way that it is. There's really no need to do anything more. It's making those snowflakes stand out against a white background, and it's beautiful. But we are just going to hit that with a little bit of color. The colors that I have today are Pool Party, Balmy Blue, and Highland Heather. So let's get started, and I am going to get my finger daubers out and just put some color on this card. Okay, so let's open up the Highland Heather. Okay, let me just stamp off there a second, see how much. Yeah, I already have quite a bit of nice coloring on that dauber, so we'll just start out with that. And you can see the way that that is just making that snowflake stand right out there. A wonderful way to make your snowflake pop. Okay, so that's about a third of our card there. Now I'm just going to switch over to our Balmy Blue. Give that a stamp there. And I do just stamp off just a little bit because I don't want to hit that with a harsh color. I'm wanting everything to be very subtle, and so it might blend in just a little bit and not have harsh edges as I move from one color to the other. So I do tend to move in colors or circles, I'm sorry, when I first load the color on my dauber. Then I find that I can swish back and forth as the color kind of wears off of the end of my dauber. Alright, so, and our final color is Pool Party. Just pull out the Pool Party stamp. My stamp pads are all rather new, so they are a little bit stiff as I open and close. That goes away after you've used them quite a bit, so. I felt that these three colors just lended themselves very well to a wintry type of look on here. I was very pleased after I put them on the card with the way that they came out and the shades. So and I'm going to try another little trick on our shimmer glimmer paper. It used to be called, I think, Dazzling Diamonds paper. I kind of like that name better. It's stuck in my head. Okay, so here is what we're going to try. I have a piece of our glimmer paper. And let's just see what size that measures. This particular piece is 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. And that fits our flurry stamp just very, very nicely. But there's also enough room all around it that you can place all of these dies and get all of these cuts out of this one piece of paper without giving too much waste. So I was pretty pleased with that. But we are just going to hit that glimmer paper with some of our ink colors here, so that it stands out when we do our stamping. So what I'm going to do is just kind of change the colors up a little bit. I'm going to start off on the side with the Balmy Blue. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up all of the ink colors here. Cover up my name there for just a moment. Okay. So I'm going to put my daubers in front of their respective colors, and we're going to start with Balmy Blue, and I'm just going to tap the ink onto this glimmer paper. And the hope is that's going to help our flurry stand out against the card there. Alright, so now I'm going to switch over to my Highland Heather. And the reason I'm using this tapping motion is I don't want to rake my daubers across that glittery paper and have it just destroy them. And as you notice, I'm not having to stamp off and relieve the ink because just due to the nature of this paper, it takes quite a bit of ink to make that pop out there. Alright, still we're going to finish up with Pool Party here. Alright, and I think that's just about got it there. So perfect. I'm just going to put my little daubers away back in their little container. Set those aside. And I'm going to go ahead and close up my ink pads. So now we are just going to, I think I'm going to turn this around. Okay, so let's lay our dies out on our paper here. And I did see a trick where you put this little flurry, and you can see that that one came out this way. And I think I like that design. The trick that I saw was when you're using any of our Glimmer or papers, that if you put the die on the back side, it actually cuts through a little bit better. So we're going to try that. And I'm going to put my die face up as I cut. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of masking tape to hold our die in place. You don't need very much of this, so I'm just going to grab a piece and then I'll tear off a few small areas just to hold the die in place. Put that on right there. Grab my largest snowflake here. I think that's going to go over here in the corner. So that's my largest free area there. Okay. And I'll put the last one right up there. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab my big shots and we're going to put that right through there. Now these dies are very intricate, so I'll probably run them back and forth through there just a couple of times just to make sure that we're cut all the way through. There's one, two, and three. Okay, so I can look at this and I don't know if you can see this, but I can pretty much see the cuts on that paper there. You know, I'm a little concerned though about this little area right down here. So I'm going to put that through one more time just to be absolutely sure. Make sure that that's nice and centered on our cutting plate. Okay. And we'll take that apart. I'll just put my big shot back away here. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do is remove this tape from the back side of the paper. Sometimes as you're pressing things through the big shot, it can cause even a low tack tape such as this to adhere much better than you would like and it rip your paper. So I just always try to remove that very carefully first thing. Most of the demonstrators I've seen demonstrating these dies actually use that nice little brush that we sell in the regular catalog to release the dies. I don't actually have one of those yet. So I'm going to use a nice little poking tool here to release those. But you can see that one seemed to just pop right out. And all of these are going to be used on the inside of the card, so it doesn't really matter what direction that the ink was on the Glimmer paper there as we punch those out. They are coming out just beautifully though. All of these just seem to cut beautifully. No little pieces sticking in there. They do tend to stick inside the dies a little bit though, so you can see we have these nice little release holes that as you put your pierce tool through there, it releases the paper very nicely. There we are. Okay, so that's all of our little dies on there. Now we just have our one big flurry die that we're going to work on. And this does have some very intricate little pieces on it here, so just going to see if I can release some of those before I pop the die out of the, or pop our die cut out of the die. How's that? Okay. Make some beautiful little confetti here, I must say. These snowflakes are just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, all right, now just a couple more little pieces to take loose from that. This is, I believe, where that brush would come in handy, just rolling it across the back of the die there. I'll look up the item number for that brush and include it on the video for you. I think that's going to be part of my next purchase. Okay. All right. Awesome. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Oh my goodness. I love that. You can see one little piece here is still hanging on. There we are. Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I absolutely love that. So we're going to bring our card front back here. Let me just see the way that that's gonna, oh, I think that pops and stands out so beautifully now. I love that little pop of color. You can see from the original how that gets lost a little bit, but this one just seems to pop beautifully. So I'm very pleased with that. I'm just deciding, do I want it that way or that way? What is standing out the best? I think I do like this direction. Just kind of like the way that, and I may just give that a little more arc there, I think. What do you think? I like that. All right, so let's grab our Tombow Blue. Let me see where I tossed that out at my... Okay, I seem to have misplaced my Tombow, so we're just going to use our fine tip glue pen. And we are going to put that on the back side of our flurry here. So it's probably going to be a little bit easier to use that way anyway. And with that fine tip, I can go right out to the edge of these snowflakes and right along this thin little vine or flurry here. So and you could use our sticker paper, and I just noticed I have a couple of more little things sticking on here. Just going to poke those through. There it goes. All right. Oh. Okay, so just hanging on there. I think that's the nature of the Glimmer paper, is it tends to hold on in those small little areas. Okay, let's continue on here with our fine tip glue pen. And boy, this is going on very nicely, and I'm able to get into all those little spots. So this is working out very well. I'm not sure why I didn't think of that from the beginning. I think I just get used to that fast adhesion of the Tombow glue and think that there is nothing else. Okay, just a little bit on the end here and we will be good to go. All right, I'll put this on our card front here. That nice little arc going with our flurry. Perfect. Oh, I do like that so much better. You can see the difference between the two cards now. This one's just standing out quite a bit better. Just really like that. Okay. So I'm going to grab some Stampin Dimensionals, and I'm just going to throw our card front there up on some dimensionals. All right. I'm just going to turn our card base over here. And this is kind of a larger card base, so I'm going to do the 4 corners and then a few in the middle as well. Okay, and that ought to do it. So we have what, eight dimensionals on here. So when I ordered my last set of dimensionals, they were back ordered. When they came out, the packaging looked a little bit different, and I noticed, oh my goodness, these are so much easier to peel the backings off than ever before. So I am really, really liking these. All right, now let's just get our card front here centered on there, and then we show this beautiful bit of foiling all around the outside there. Then I also have a piece of our silver foil paper, and that is what we're going to stamp our sentiment on the front here. Okay, so I just have a scrap piece here of my silver foil paper, and I'm just going to hit that with my embossing buddy here, because we are going to do some embossing on this with our white embossing powder. So the stamp I've chosen for that is the Sending a Blizzard of Wishes for a Wonderful Season, and we're just going to grab the Versamark ink and stamp that right on the front. So I did use kind of a smaller piece on the other card front here, if you can see that. I was being very conservative with my paper, but I think I might like it with the ends flagged, so I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it on my paper here, go ahead and heat set that, and then I will cut it out. So, and the other thing I've noticed is you just barely, when you're using foil paper, want to kiss this paper. You don't want to smush your stamp down on that, because when you're using embossing powder, it does just get really yucky. So just barely kiss that paper, and we'll see how that turns out. The thing is, with foil paper, you are actually able to clean that back off if you think that it didn't come out just right. So just hitting that with our white powder right there. And there is a section on that that did not come out, so I am just going to go ahead and rub that away. And just grab a wipe. Alright, so I'm just going to use this baby wipe here, wipe that powder and that ink away. Okay, I'm just going to rub it here on my paper, and then we're going to get the Embossing Buddy back, and sometimes you can see that there is just a little bit of film left here. There's not on this time though, but we'll wipe that with the Embossing Buddy and we'll try stamping that one more time. Okay, so I'm not going to actually re-ink up because there's actually quite a bit of ink left on here. Just going to give that a nice press. It was my Z's right in the middle that didn't come out well, so giving that a nice press this time. And we're going to hit it with our embossing powder once more. Perfect. This seems to have come out just perfect. All right, there we go. And back on that. And let me get the heat tool. Just going to let it heat up again for just a second before I put it on my paper there. Here we are. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab my trim and scoreboard, and I'll go ahead and cut this little piece off. Okay, there we are. So that left me even from my scrap piece, quite a bit there. And then I'm just going to cut a little bit here off of the end. And I realize that I'm off camera a little bit there, guys. Sorry about that. Just pull that back on. I don't want to get that too short. Don't want it too long, but I definitely don't want it too short. It gives me a nice other little piece there that I can use for something else. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty picky. I do not like to waste my silver foil paper or any foil or glimmer paper. These things are kind of like gold. Okay. So you can see for flagging in the ends, I just cut a little area directly in the center. About like that. Okay, and then I go from the corner to that little area right in the center there. It makes nice little flags. All right. And you can see that that white embossing just shows up very, very nicely on the silver foiled paper. I had tried it before on vellum. That didn't stand out very well at all. So the next thing I'm going to do is put some little glue dots right behind this. Or, no, I don't need any more dimension because I do want these to be mailable. So, let's see. Grab some glue dots. I got this nice little dispenser for my glue dots that I can pull out exactly however many I want. I found that to be pretty useful. So, just going to go ahead and grab those glue dots off, place them in the corner of this flag. I love these mini glue dots. They stick like crazy. All right, so now we have our little flag, which it would be nice if I had that a little straighter. Yikes. Fortunately, I was able to lift that up without tearing my card front. Okay, another thing I thought that I might want to add is also as a limited edition for this month, they have these wonderful little snowflake trinkets. And I thought one of those might be very pretty right here on the front of the card. So I'm going to put one of those on. Again, I'm going to use a glue dot to do that, so let me pull off one more here. Pull it off with my pierce tool. Stick it right in the center there. Oops. And hopefully it will stay. There it goes. All right, press that down right there. Nice little firm press, and that snowflake isn't going anywhere. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is put my remaining snowflakes and a little sentiment down in the inside. Now I have tried using silver embossing to put this sentiment on the inside, but I thought that it came out a little bit blurred. I didn't care for the way that that looked, so I've decided to use smoky slate. Smoky slate gives a nice kind of mimic of the silver. It just on the other card here, it just came out beautifully, so that's what we're going to do. The sentiment says, each snowflake is beautiful, sparkly and special, just like you. And I just thought, oh, how well that goes with the front of this card. So we're just going to stamp that here, right in the middle. Give that a nice press. And perfect, that comes out. You can see that comes out absolutely perfect, and it almost looks like silver. Smoky slate, perfect for this card. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is put those little snowflakes on here. So let me get my fine tip glue pen back. I think I had just put the cap on that and put it away a second ago. All right. And the sound you now hear behind me is my little pug saying, "Mom, you have been away from me too long. What are you doing?" He's scratching on my leg down here. "Are you going to pick me up and hold me?" Anybody who knows me knows that I love this little dog more than just about anything in life. He goes almost everywhere with me, traveling in his own little doggy stroller. He's like the cutest thing ever, but of course he's mine, so I'm a little prejudiced. What about you guys? You dog people, cat people, what? I've always had cats before, but this little guy just stole my heart from the time that he was just a baby. I got him when he was maybe about 7 weeks old. Didn't even seem to be completely weaned yet. So I got to bottle feed him a little bit. And teach him how to ride in the car, of course. There we go. And there is our card. I love those snowflakes right down the side. I just think they add so much to the card. I love the color that we sponged onto that glimmer paper. It would have been good probably to have folded the card, but since it is pre-scored, it's not that terribly hard to do. Let me just grab my bone folder and we'll run it right down and give that a nice crease there. Probably would be better to do, I must say though, before you put your card front on, since we did raise that on Dimensionals. But here is our finished project. I absolutely love it. I don't know about you. I love the metal snowflake embellishment on the front. I love the coloring on the little snow flurry there. I love the flagging on the... So this was our original card. You can see the difference. This one just looks so much richer. And if I do anything, I might stamp a snowflake or two on the envelope and emboss it with silver. Just to tie it all in with the snowflake theme. But that's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm just going to pull one of those envelopes out of the package so that you can see that. What a rich way to send out your Christmas cards this year. You absolutely have to get this set. You do want to have these gorgeous card bases and envelopes. What a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful display to send out. I am so in love with that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed our project for today. Please visit my website. It's www.cardcrazysharon.stampinup.net to order the supplies that you saw here today. We do have pretty much everything that you need. The silver foil paper, the little snowflake embellishments, this beautiful set of stamps and dies, embossing powders, inks, sponge daubers, fine tip glue pen, everything that you could possibly want. So I hope that you shop with me today. I hope that you enjoy this inspiration for Christmas cards. I hope you enjoy your holiday season. God bless you. Have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. And I'll see you back here with my next holiday card idea. Thank you for joining me. I so appreciate you stopping by my channel. Makes me feel so good that you took the time to look. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.